Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we will be covering one more interview question which is asked in most of the MNC company. This is a very famous interview question and I would highly recommend you to practice this question because when I was also preparing for interviews, I came across this particular question which was asked in Optum. So this question I will be sharing. There could be different varieties of this question, but the logic almost remains the same. So make sure you go ahead and practice this question so that you are aware how to exactly approach these kind of questions, and you will be able to answer it during the interviews without any hesitation, and that will help you cracking the interview as well. So without any delay, let's get started. What is our question for today? So this question is asked in Optum. So what does the question say? So we have a user table in which we have a user ID and login date. And we have to identify the dates where a user logged in for 5 consecutive or more days. We have to return the user ID, start date, end date, and number of consecutive dates. If a user logged in for 5 consecutively or more times, but not spanning 5 days, then they should be excluded. So let's go ahead and run this particular data set and see what exactly the data set implies. So we have a user ID and a login date. If you will see here, there are multiple login dates for user ID 1. So user ID 1 logged in on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then 6th. Now the consecutive dates that we have here is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these are 4 days. Then it again logged in from 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So these are the sorry, not the 6, the 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So these are the consecutive dates. Similarly, 20 is there, which is not. Then 25 to 29, 30 is a consecutive date. If in case it's spanning more than 5 days, then we have to go ahead and get that particular data set. So in this case, from 25 to 30, it is more than 5 days. So it's 6 days. So we have to get the result for this. Similarly, for 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 also it is consecutive, which is 5 days. So it will give us the result. But here 1, 2, 3, 4 is consecutive, but it's less than 5. So this will not be the output, right? So you understand what the question is here. Now, let's go ahead and solve this question. Before that, I can see here the date format here, login date is actually the string data type. So if in case it's a string data type, it becomes difficult to do any kind of manipulation which is having a date. So what I will do is first I will convert this into a date data type. So for that, I will be converting the login date to a format of YYYMMDD. So this will be a date data type now. So if you will see now, the login date is being converted to a date data type. So now we have to actually calculate the dense rank, and what we will be doing is we will be partitioning the data on the basis of user ID, and we will order the data with the login date so that we can calculate the dense rank. So let me execute the command and let me show you why exactly we are doing a dense rank to it. So let me do a df1 equal to df dot with column. I'll just name it as dr, and here I will do a dense rank over my partition by clause. As I was mentioning, for the partition by clause you have to mention the window on the partition by my user ID, and I will be ordering it by the login date. So let me execute this command. So you see here, I have executed the command, and if you will see, the login date here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. So all the user ID 1 is having the consecutive because it doesn't have any dates which are overlapping, right? But in user ID 3, if you will see 1 to 3 is being having the dense rank 1 to 3, 4 is 4, and these are duplicates, right? So it is assigning the same value, and for the fifth, it's actually assigning the fifth value. Otherwise, it should have assigned 5, 6, and 7, but instead of that, as they are duplicate, it's assigning 4, and then it's assigning the 5, right? Similar is the case for the user ID 4, which is assigning here for 4 consecutive dates. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the fourth one is twice here, so it's assigning here 4, right? So now our dense rank is being created, and what we will do next is we will actually calculate the difference between the dense rank and login date to generate the grouped column. So to generate the grouped column, what you have to do is you can go ahead and we can subtract the login date with the dense rank. So let me go ahead and write that so that I can explain you what output it will be showing. So using the with column, I will be doing a group operation. In that group operation, what I will be doing is the column that I have, that is my login date. I'll subtract this login date with my column dr. Now I will do a df2.display. So in this, I am creating a grouped column, and what this grouped column will do, it will subtract the login date with the dense rank. So 1 minus 1 is actually here 0, but as this is a date column, right? So it will subtract 1 from the 1st of March. So if you subtract 1 from the 1st of March, it comes to be 28th of Feb. Similarly, if you subtract 2 from the 2nd of March, it will be 28. So if you will see, this is one group. Then if you subtract 6 with 5, 1 is coming. So this is not a part of group. This becomes a part of one group. And then we have the rest, like this becomes one part of the group, right? Because you subtract 25 March and subtract 12 days from it. So it comes to be 13th of March. Similarly, if you subtract 13 days from 26th of March, it coming out as to be 13th of March, right? So that is how exactly you calculate the group. Once you have calculated the group, you will see there are some dates, right? So for example, if I show you here, let me just scroll down a little. This is one group, right? And what is my start date for this particular group? It's 1st of March and the end date is 4th of March. Similarly, for this particular group, the start date is 10th of March and the end date is 13th of March, right? So how you calculate the start date and end date, you understand that this is my minimum value, so that is my start date, and this is my maximum value, so that is my end date, right? So we have to calculate then the start date and the end date. So to calculate the start date and end date, I will be doing df3 equal to df2 dot group by user id and also the group. Once I do a group by, then I have to do an aggregation. In the aggregation, what I will be doing is I will be calculating the minimum value of the column, that is my start date. So I will be calculating the minimum on login date. Okay, that will be my start date. So min of this is actually my start date. So I will do an alias, which I will rename it as start date. And I will also calculate the same similarly the maximum of my login date, that will be my end date. Okay, here we go. Now let me go ahead and display this result as well. df3 dot display. So this is my result data set. Let me go ahead and check the data set here. Here if you will see for user ID 1, if you have this group, the start date was 1st of March and end date was 4th of March, right? for user ID 1, if the group was 1, this was my start date and this was my end date. Similarly, for user ID 3, 28th of March was my group and this was my start date and this was my end date. You now understand how you calculate the start date and end date. It's using the min and the max. Now, the next thing that you have to do is to actually calculate the difference between start and end date in order to get the consecutive dates. So I will do a df underscore answer. In this answer, I will do df3 dot with column. In the with column, I will be mentioning my consecutive as my column name, and in that particular column I have to calculate the date diff. So if you will see, there is a function called date diff. What it does, it calculates the difference between two columns that you will be mentioning. So I want to calculate between the end date and I want to calculate it between the start date. So that will be actually calculating my date diff here. So if I go ahead and run this up, you will see the answer, but it will not be the correct answer. I'll tell you why. So if you will see here, we have this user ID. The start date is here, end date is here, consecutive is 3. It means 4 minus 1 is 3, right? 6 minus 6 is 0. But this is one day in which the user ID 1 has logged in. So the whole day they have logged in, right? So the consecutive date should be 1, not 0. Here it should be 4 days, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the consecutive date should be 4, not 3. So let's go ahead and fix this up. It's a very simple fix. You just add here plus 1 to it and you will get the correct consecutive dates. That is the, here it is 4. Now this is 1. Now 14 minus 10 is what? 4. But they are total 5 days, right? So you mention it 5 and so on. Now, as I don't want all the results and I want only the result whose consecutive dates is more than 5 or equal to 5. Therefore, I will do a filter operation. In the filter operation, what I will do is I will check my, sorry, I'll check the consecutive day here. If the consecutive day is greater than or equal to 5, I want that particular result data set. Right? So this is my result data set that I will be having. If you want, you can also select the columns that you need. So for example, you need your user ID, you need the start date, and you need the end date along with the consecutive. So let me mention this start date, and you have end date, and you also have consecutive. So this is my output that I have right now. So I hope you have understood this question, how exactly to approach it. It has a lot of other things that you need to know. That is, for example, how you can create the data frame, how you can convert a string to a date format, how you can use a dense rank, how you can filter out the data, how you can do a grouping of the data, how you can do a min and max. These are the functionalities that you use in order to approach this question and get a solution. So I hope you have understood this video, and if you want to practice more question, then I would highly recommend you to go back to my interview playlist and actually go ahead and see all the questions that I have already covered in the interview playlist. It will really help you in cracking the interview. So I hope you liked it. So please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. Till the next video, thank you so much for watching and I wish you have a good day.
Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.